welcome to my next installment of the Back to Basics video series on crochet. This one we're going to talk about yarn, thus the pile of yarn in front of the camera. First of all, let's talk about how yarns are packaged. There are four basic ways yarn's packaged. You got a skein. It's a skein. You have a ball, and this is also a ball. You have a hank. I don't mean Henry. Where this hank is where it's looped around and then folded over and then tied together and bundled. And a cone. And you can get, there's a cone, and then there's also big cones like this. Okay. Your skeins, you pull your yarn from the middle to work with it. Your balls, you pull the yarn from the outside to work with it. Your hank, you have to wind it into a ball to work with it. And a cone, you pull it right off the cone to work with it. The second thing we want to do is talk about the labels. I'm going to use this red heart because they're clear printing on it. First of all, you want to look at washing instructions are right here. This symbol means you can machine wash and dry it, but you can't iron it. It's important, especially if you're like making a baby gift, or if you're making an Afghan with a family that have kids or pets, they want to be able to wash their item. Another thing you want to look at is fiber content. This one here, it's 100% acrylic, where this one here, the Moonlight Mohair from Lion Brand, it has multi-fibers and it has acrylic, mohair, cotton, and polyester. And this one you cannot machine dry, but you can wash it. Another reason you want to look at your fiber content is if you have somebody that's allergic to mohair or wool, you're not going to want to make them something from that. So, you want to get the yarn that's going to go good with your project. For example, I took a cotton and I'm trying to make a pair of slippers. I have a video about that, my bent tool on a looming project. And the slippers did not stretch at all because the cotton yarn is not stretchy, whereas a wool or an acrylic is a stretchier. It's got some give. Alright, another thing you want to look at is the gauge that's on here. There's these little things here, these little boxes that have a checkerboard around them. We find them on most things of yarn. Some of them will have it written out. Okay, this is your knitting gauge, this is your crochet gauge. It recommends a size I or 9 hook on this one. Okay, so this is actually the yarn that we're going to use in our project, and so I want you to get the hook that's recommended on your yarn label for that project, because it's not going to matter how many stitches the inch it's going to be. We're going to kind of go by measurements. Sometimes it is. Okay, we'll discuss that later in a pattern. Another thing you want to look at, thing I like about Red Heart, it says no dye lot. Well, it does have a dye lot number down here. But that means basically you can take and buy this skein of yarn now, and then if you run out, you can go later to the same store and get another ball of yarn, another skein of yarn, and get it to match. But I still recommend you trying to match these numbers, because in a big project, put all that work into it, you don't want to have stripes of different shades. This one here has a die lot number right here. You want to make sure these numbers match. Buy enough yarn to finish your project at the same time, because matching them numbers later is going to be nearly impossible. Another thing you want to look at is your yardage. Okay, that will be up here. It has how many ounces it weighs, grams, yards, and meters. This one has 364 yards. Okay, that's for a 7-ounce skein. Let me see what else I got here. If I can show you a different skein that has it on it. Okay, on Love This Yarn, they have it in a little, this has 251 yards. Even though skeins look the same, they're not. This is only 5 ounces. Usually your variegated yarns, the ones with different colors in it, are 5 ounces, and your, that's for Love This Yarn, I think Vanna's Choice and Red Heart do this. Whereas 7-ounce skeins for your plain yarn solids. So you want to keep that in mind as well. And if you're substituting yarn, okay, let's say your pattern wants to use 3 7-ounce skeins. Well, you decided you want to do yours in multiple colors. So you're going to look at this and say, well, this is only 5 ounces. So you got to figure out how much you're going to need for your project. And again, you're not going to need to worry about it for the project. We're going to learn on, because we're going to do a scarf. You're going to need 1 7-ounce skein. You'll probably could get by with 1 5-ounce skein. What you're going to want to do is you're going to pick out a light color. You want to get the crochet hook recommended on the label. All right. That's about how your yarn is packaged and reading the labels. I'm going to stop the camera and we're going to pick up and we're going to go over all the different kinds, well, not all of them because it's thousands of them, but some of the different kinds of yarns you're going to find out there. And I'll see you in that video.